Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Stock Market with your twice weekly Apple analysis. This analysis is done on Monday 22nd of April, nearly 11 PM in the evening, New York time. I have just the one daily wave count now for Apple. Downwards movement invalidated my alternate, giving me a bit more confidence in these mid and long-term targets. I'm seeing Apple in a new 5-wave impulse to the downside, which is probably an A wave at cycle degree, subdividing into a 5, so we're probably looking at a big zigzag. Within this A wave, we're still in the third wave. Within primary wave 3, we have 1 and 2 complete at intermediate degree. Intermediate wave 3 is not complete, and I may look at my degree of labelling here in the next couple of weeks. I may move this down 1 degree. We may not have passed the strongest piece of downwards movement. We may see momentum to the downside yet increase further. So far within intermediate wave 3, we may have had minor 1 and 2 complete, minor 3 may be complete, minor 4 may be underway, or this may be only minute 1 and 2 within minor 3. We'll see how this one unfolds. But so far it looks like we may be having a 4th wave correction. If this is the case, if it's at minor degree, then it should take a few more days to unfold, and it can't move into wave 1 price territory above 426.40. At 294, intermediate wave 3 would reach equality in length with intermediate wave 1, and at 272, primary wave 3 in its entirety would reach 1.618, the length of primary wave 1. Let's have a look at this structure on the hourly chart, where the start of minor 3 and the end of minor 3 down here. Here's the start and here's the end. So I was expecting downwards movement from my last analysis. My target was 368. Price has fallen over $17 short of that target, though we did get a little bit more downwards movement. When we use Elliott's first channeling technique to draw a trend channel around this third wave here, from 1 to 3 with a copy on 2, we can see that that channel is very clearly breached with upwards movement. This downwards impulse is over, and we're in a correction to correct it. So if this is a 4th wave correction, then it can't move back into wave 1 price territory above 426.4, and we can use the guideline of alternation to tell us how it may complete. Minor wave 2 was a very shallow, expanded flat correction. Given the guideline of alternation, we may expect the 4th wave to be deep. It could get up to the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, but this channel here and the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree indicates that we may not see alternation in depth of correction. We may be only going to see it in structure. That's okay. Alternation is a guideline, not a rule. If minor wave 4, which looks like it may be unfolding as a zigzag, ends about the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, it will reach up to 405, which is pretty close to the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio of minor wave 3, and it's also where minute wave A and minute wave C would reach equality in length. So that's my most likely target for a bit more upwards movement over the next couple of days or so, before we see a resumption of the downwards trend. If price continues on up through the first target, then use the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio as the next likely place for upwards movement to end. Draw this big wide channel here around this downwards movement, draw it from the end of 1 to the end of 3, and place a parallel copy on the high of 2. Expect upwards movement to find resistance at the upper edge of this parallel channel, and when price turns on down and continues lower, we may see the 5th wave end midway in that channel, or if it gets down there, it should find support at the lower edge. And the strength of the next piece of downwards movement is going to give us a really strong indication as to what degree of labelling we should have here. Like I said on the daily chart, I might move from this point on down, I might move all of this down 1 degree. We may have only seen minute 1 within minor 3, which means we should expect a higher correction from minute 2, and the invalidation point would be up here. Alternatively, we may move the whole thing all down 1 degree. We'd still be looking at a 4th wave correction, with the 1st wave ending here and we'd still be looking at the same targets. So the next piece of movement, how strong that is going to give an indication as to what degree of labelling we should have, because the third wave, the middle of it, should show the strongest momentum. So I'm expecting a bit of upwards movement for the next probably couple of days or so for Apple. That's all for me today with your Apple analysis, and I hope that everybody had a fabulous weekend.